All right, so we're going to do another tutorial really quick here in Procreate about creating cartoon characters. So as you can see on the screen, I have three circular shapes, ovals, and I'm just going to go in and get started here. I was using the Pelion pencil, and we're just going to make it as dark as we can. So this layer, I'm going to lower the opacity just a little bit more, maybe like right here, 25%. And then I'm going to actually draw above it, on top of it. So we'll start up here in the corner. Now the first thing you have to have if you're drawing just random cartoon characters is elongated shapes or large heads. So you see characters like this in Family Guy with Stewie. On The Simpsons, you can see something like this in Homer Simpson. That is usually a large shape to really exaggerate their features. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw some eyes. And usually eyes on cartoon characters are perfect circles or ovals. So think Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck will stay in that realm. So I'm going to draw a circle here. And I'm going to hold it. And I'm going to draw another circle right here next to it. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to draw the pupil in here. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to fill that in. I'm drawing another pupil over here. I'll hold it. Same thing, I'll fill that in. I'm going to close that off. So in another tutorial, I believe I talked about how you want to, if you're drawing eyes, you want to fill in the white space behind the eye right away. That way you don't forget. I'm going to put a little shine here on the eye. We'll do it on the left side here. So just like that, you can see that kind of coming to life. Next thing is you got to decide, I'm going to do a human character or an animal character. So we'll do an animal character. We'll just kind of make this up as we go. We'll do a duck. So if I'm going to do a duck, I'm going to draw a beak here. I'll start with his corner of his mouth here. I'll go across like that. Come over like that. And then I'll go up like a V and come back down. Yeah, we don't want to get too close to Donald or Daffy and get a copyright strike, right, guys? All right, so we got our shape for the duck's bill. And today I'm just going to be filling the colors in as I go. Normally I would draw everything first and then go back and add the color, but today we're just going to fill it in as we go. There we go. We'll use like a light peachy red color for the inside of the mouth here. And then we'll use like a pink for the tongue. All right, got that out of the way. So now you got to think to yourself, how am I going to finish this off? I'm going to draw another layer, a sketch layer, and I'm just going to kind of freestyle some ideas. I could go like that to close the head off. I could just kind of go down like that and close the head off. I think we'll do something maybe like that. That looks pretty good. So we'll do something like that. We'll go back up to our layer we're working on, move our color back down. I'm just going to come up. Actually, I'll come down and make this. I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll come down. And then let's give him like a funny looking hairstyle. All right, and then ducks are usually like what, green? We'll make our duck like a dark green. We'll make him like a mallard. Oops, there we go. And actually, I think I'm going to close off uh, this other part of his bill back here. I'm going to just move this, close this off. I'm pulling the color from this part. If you hold down on the screen in Procreate, you can get your color picker tool. And then I'm just going to drag in and fill in that space. That looks a little better to me. All right, let's give him a little personality. Let's close his eyelids off. He's super happy. Let's just kind of close his eyelids off. Again, I'm holding at the very end to create that shape. I'm going to go in and pick color. And I'm going to drag that color to the eyelid and close the eyelids off. All right, so I think I talked about this in another tutorial, but you go on top of your layer and create a clipping mask. Everything below it won't be affected, and everything you draw above on this mask layer will be kind of above the layer below it. So I'm just going to put some highlights in here. We'll do it on the left side of the character. We'll do his beak. Actually, I'm going to do the select tool. I'm just going to grab the beak. This will be my reference layer here. And I'm going to select the beak. All right, so we're going to just color that in with some white highlights there. We'll do some more on the bottom there. We'll go up here and just put some on the side of his head here. Again, I'm just freestyling here. Anatomy does not have to be correct on cartoon type characters. You just want to get your really clean line work. The fact that I use the pencil instead of ink is not really helping that. But I'm going to drop the opacity down. Bam. You got your highlight there. All right, let's move on to the next character here. Again, I don't know what I'm drawing. I'm just kind of making it up as we go. All right, so we got an ovular head here. We're going to do like a Stewie type character. So on a human being with a head like Stewie and Family Guy, the ears would be over here. We're just going to draw some ears. We'll close the bottom of the head off. We'll fill in a little bit of the marks on our ears, the hair, and the head. So let's just go across the top here, hold it. We'll do that again because it did not close the shape. Close it. Let's just add in some curly, maybe a curly afro here. Again, very important to close off your shapes if you're going to be coloring them in right away. And we'll do a little bit of hair on the front here. I'm going to make this my reference layer. That way when I pull color into it, it doesn't affect the other layer. So let's pull the color in. About right there is good. And the rest of this we can kind of color in by hand, these little edges here. All right, let's do a nose. Let's do a circular nose. There we go. Let's do a mouth. We'll just go with a straight smile here. There we go. And then we'll put some little marks on the end. Eyes, let's go big Ernie and Bert type eyes. We'll do big ovals. And then same thing that we did earlier, except I'm just gonna freestyle those pupils there. I'm gonna put my highlight in right away. I'm gonna fill in my eye. And then we're thinking Ernie and Bert, so let's make this guy like a weird Muppet color. Let's make him blue. There he is. And I just noticed a little bit of the color that didn't come through when I closed the hair off. So we'll color that in. And then let's do some eyebrows. There we go. All right, for this one, we're going to do the same thing on the other one. We're going to do a clipping mask. This time, instead of highlights, let's do shadows. So I'm just going to go in here and do like some black shadows on the right side. Again, just freestyling, just making our way downtown. There we go. Put some right here on the bottom of his lip here. And then we're going to go in and drop the opacity down to maybe 25% here. And as you can see, the shadow kind of fills in on its own right there. All right, lastly, let's make up a character for this bottom circle here. Again, we'll create a layer on top of our sketch layer that I created in the beginning there. Let's do big dark eyes like a Funko Pop character. So I'm going to start off just big circle. Whoops. Forgot to turn our reference on, so we'll make this our reference layer here. Fill that in. We'll do it again. All right, and then let's do some eyelashes. Let me make this a female character. And let's do some eyebrows. All right, nose. What are we gonna do for nose? Let's do a Mickey Mouse type nose. We'll just do a black nose. We'll fill it in. And then we'll put like a little white highlight on there. There we go. All right, mouth. I'm thinking this character is gonna have a small mouth. Something like a little dash, something like that. All right, we got our over here, but I'm thinking maybe some big cheeks, like she chews bubble gum a lot. We'll do that, and then we'll close off the bottom of the chin there. Let's make her like a rabbit or a bear type character. So I'm going to draw the top of the head here. I'm going to put big ears here. And then we'll put little shapes in our ears to close them off. That mouth is really, I'll go back and edit it here. All right, let's go back in and add a little shine back on the nose, a little shine up here in the corner. Let's make her like what's a good color? Let's make her like a light blue color. Again, I'm going to drag the color from the corner up here right into the shape here. There we go. I'm going to make the inside of her ears like the same blue, but like a little lighter. There we go. And then with her, let's do a highlight, but let's do like a complementary color. So let's grab like a purple here. Again, we'll add a layer on top. We'll go clipping mask. Let's add highlights on this side here. There we go. So we'll add highlights here. Your highlights don't have to always be black and white. You can go with a different color from time to time. Gives it a different feel. All right. And then we're going to take the opacity for that down to probably about 25%, just like the others. Actually, but this one might need to be a little higher. Yeah, we'll go 83% here. All right. So just like that, we created three random cartoon characters that we could plug into something. I just really wanted to show you how characters are shapes. Maybe we'll do some actual characters that people know of in the next one, like a Bugs Bunny or a Daffy Duck or something like that. We'll use a reference photo to help us out. So I'm going to turn off that initial layer that I began with, the sketch right here. I'll turn that off. Background color is gray. That's a pretty good color, but I'm just going to make it like maybe a kid's color. Let's do like a light green here. That'll work. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm going to make sure I sign my work. I'll put my initials down here in the corner. Yeah, and that is pretty much it. So, guys, like I said, cartoon characters, animated characters, if you're making a comic strip or maybe something animated, lots of shapes. Today on this one, we used a lot of circular shapes. It could be triangular shapes or square-like shapes, but basically it's shapes, and then you just kind of work your way through and add the details afterwards. So check you guys on the next one. Like, comment, and subscribe. Keep supporting the channel. Appreciate you guys. Till the next one. Peace.